Project Pet, the Chunk Protocol, continued. The Karganu was backed into a corner between two prefab structures. It stood taller than the human, its body coiled like a spring, a guttural growl vibrating the very air. Its eyes, burning with feral yellow light, were locked on Jorik. This was the moment of the kill. Jorik stopped about 10 feet away. He didn't stare the creature down, a universal sign of aggression. He knelt, making himself smaller. He averted his gaze slightly, and then he spoke. His tone wasn't threatening or fearful. It was a soft, crooning sound, the kind a primate might use to soothe its young.
Hey there, big guy, you're a long way from home, aren't you? You look hungry, real hungry.
Tavek watched, his antennae twitching in disbelief. The human was using what their own xenopsychologists called pet voice. It was illogical, suicidal. Jorik tossed the piece of meat. It landed a few feet from the Karganu's massive paws. The beast flinched, but its growl softened fractionally. It sniffed the air, its powerful nostrils twitching. Slowly, cautiously, it lowered its head and devoured the offering in a single gulp. Jorik smiled.
See, we're not so bad.
He stayed kneeling for a long time, speaking in that same nonsensical, soothing cadence. He didn't try to get closer. He just existed in the creature's space, projecting an aura not of dominance, but of calm invitation. Over the next few days, the entire settlement watched the bizarre courtship. Jorik, who the colony logs listed simply as animal husbandry specialist, left food out. He would sit nearby, sometimes for hours, reading a data slate or just talking to the beast he had nicknamed Chunk. The breakthrough came a week later. Jorik was sitting in his usual spot when Chunk, the class black predator, hesitantly walked forward. It was a moment of supreme tension. The settlement's defense cannons were locked onto the creature's heat signature. Chunk nudged Jorik's outstretched hand with his wet nose. Then, in a gesture that sent ripples of shock through every biologist watching the relayed feeds, it flopped onto its side, exposing its vulnerable underbelly. Its massive bludgeoning tail gave a single tentative thump against the ground. Jorik laughed, a warm, genuine sound. He moved forward and began scratching the coarse fur on the Karganu's chest. A low rumble started in the creature's throat. Tavek almost classified it as a prelude to an attack, before his audio sensors identified the pattern. It wasn't a growl, it was a purr. When Ambassador Rostova next attended a Concordance summit on the Citadel, she didn't walk in alone. At her side, tethered by a simple leather leash, padded Chunk. He was now fully grown, his head level with her shoulder. He wore a simple harness, and his yellow eyes, no longer burning with feral rage, calmly observed the stunned delegates. An Asari diplomat fainted. A Valis delegation rolled into protective spheres. Cathar, the Kylan ambassador, stood frozen, his mandibles clicking uncontrollably.
That is a Karganue.
His translator stated, the monotone failing to hide the sheer panic.
This is Chunk,
Rostova said, scratching the massive creature behind his expressive ears. Chunk leaned into her touch, his tail thumping a steady, happy rhythm on the polished floor.
He's a rescue. Turns out they're incredibly affectionate. Once you get past the whole murder, everything that moves phase, you just have to let them know who their pack is.
The galactic community was never the same. Human xenopsychology became the most heavily funded and frantically studied field of science. The other races, with their rigid protocols and threat assessments, had only ever seen a monster. Humanity, in its baffling, reckless, and deeply empathetic way, had looked at a 5-foot-tall engine of destruction and seen a friend. And in doing so, they had proven that the most powerful force in the galaxy wasn't a plasma cannon or a starship. It was a simple question. Who's a good boy? Thanks for watching. Like, share, and follow.